get me on in a thrift store?
Geez, like I say, I had a girlfriend, unbeknownst to me. This way back in the mid '90s sometime, but yeah, she was playing one of them boards, and it would all ended up bad. But I had to help her with some serious stuff with that. But yeah, she threw the board away, and it came back too. I don't, listen, there's a lot of paranormal stuff goes on with that. I know people don't believe it, but I've witnessed it. I have witnessed this stuff, and stuff I've seen, and you can't explain. There's no scientific explanation for it, but it happens. But finally just got rid of it and buried it in salt water. But I've had several stories where these boards seem to come back.
Well, my friend who's no longer with us, Art, told me what I should have done when I told him the story that one time. What he did, he burned his.
Yeah.
I should have burned it. I should have just burned it, set it on fire, and got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea either sometimes, but maybe sometimes depends on, I guess, on your situation. But probably the best situation, don't mess with them. But if you do and you got to get rid of them, I know the best way I find is bury them in salt water where they can't resurface and nobody can get their hands on them again.
Well, why would burning it cause the issue?
Well, sometimes that, again, nothing's proven, but I've had come across several cases where the evil was even more mad. It closed. You got rid of the thing that could have properly closed what should have been closed. But I don't know. There's all kinds of theories and stuff on that. I don't know what the right answer is. I just know what worked for me, and that was burying it in salt water. Now I've heard several other people in cases where burning it did work. And then I've heard several cases where people tried to burn it and they wouldn't burn.
Huh. I should have gave it to my Aunt Bertha.
or your teacher in school there, the one that you had a little run-in with.
No. I was out of school at that time.
Oh.
Yeah, remember, I was married. Why would I be in school yet and married?
No. I'm talking about the one when you were still in school. No, not when you're married. I just mean in general. When with the doll there.
You mean where with Mr. Bender, where we went to this magic store and we met my good friend Terry. We were watching a movie about Voodoo Island or Voodoo something, and we had this one teacher we didn't like, so we went to the magic store. We had to walk a couple miles to it. And then we got into my mom's sewing pins, and we put all these pins in its stomach. And, the next day or so we go back to school, we find out Mr. Bender's not there. And we asked around and the substitute said, oh, he's in the hospital. He just had his appendix rupture or something.
Oh, boy, all you guys must have been freaking out. Boy, scared. Oh, I could just picture the expression on your faces.
Well, yeah, it kind of like, wow, this might work.
Yeah. And then when you heard that, it was like, oh, boy, I bet you was scared you was going to get found out.
Oh, yeah, we did, because, Terry couldn't keep his mouth shut, so he started telling people, oh, we saw this, movie, and so we went and got this voodoo doll, and we started sticking, we called the doll Mr. Bender, and we started sticking pins in it. And then, boom, and it got around back to Mr. Bender. And when he came back, he was furious.
I could imagine. My goodness, he must have called you guys in. But there's always somebody in a crowd that's got a boast to run their mouth, and then it gets back to you. And then there was a price to be paid.
Oh, yeah, or something like that. I'm not sure. But, I don't know. Have you ever played with a Ouija board?
Oh, Lord, no. No, I have not. Believe me, I've seen dead people all my life. Matter of fact, when I was 3, I had a Native American Indian boy about my age, and this is where I even knew what dead people even were. I just thought he was a kid in the neighborhood, but he was a spirit. And I played with him every day, but he would never come in my house, and I couldn't figure that out. But we didn't live in this house very long. It was this apartment. But there was a guy in the house. He would come every once in a while, and I would see him. He was an evil old man, and he pushed me down the steps. And the boy told me, he said, "I'm not going." He told me one day, he said, "I don't go in the house because the evil man in there don't like me." But I didn't know no better. I was 3 years old, but I look back now. But no, I have never played that game. And listen, I have seen people that played it, and some people have no problems. Some people play it, and they have all kinds of problems.
I don't know. You tell me about mirrors too, or something about if you got a evil mirror, how do you get rid of it?
Well, that's very important. There's only 3 proper ways to get rid of a bad evil mirror, and one is to burn it, and it takes 2,800 degrees heat to burn it, and many people don't have access to that. Second, you can throw it in an ocean, which would be buried under salt water. That would keep it pretty much out of use and safe. Third, bury it in a consecrated ground, which means cemetery or graveyard. Now, I actually came across one 3 years ago, 2017 in May 10th, matter of fact. And again, somebody had a problem with this mirror, and the history of it, it was like a 3 by 4 foot mirror, and it was in a hotel room for 50 years, and the hotel had been torn down 30 years ago. So this mirror was like 70, 80 years old, give or take 5-10 years. And so that was it had 50 years in that hotel of witnessing crimes and you name it. Just use your imagination. So it was causing all kinds of problems in this house because when they tore the hotel down, they gave it to this person and said, "Hey, you want this mirror?" "Oh, sure." Didn't think nothing, but use mirrors or don't leave them alone. So, yeah, I had to exercise this mirror and take it out of there. I had to throw a big black trash bag over it and reach up under it with the holy water and the prayers and get it, try to neutralize it so I could get it out of there. And then tried to film it and record it and everything. It shut down 3 different devices, and it stopped both our watches. My assistant was helping me watch. So we couldn't even do that. I mean, it was very potent and powerful stuff there. And then, so now, I had to go for option C, which was buried in consecrated ground. Now, here's the thing with that. You got to find a graveyard that's kind of secluded. And I found one that was way out in the middle of nowhere in Bigfoot country. So it's getting close to midnight. It looks like a scene of a horror movie. There's like fog hanging over the ground. It's kind of misting. And so we get out there. Well, it was a 10-mile drive, too. So now I got to drive with this evil mirror, and it's trying to mess with my head and make me wreck and all kind of stuff. It was just bizarre. And then when I get there, I got to sneak in this graveyard, hope nobody, the sheriff don't come by or somebody that lives about a mile up the road and stop and say, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" But I'm going to say I'm burying the evil mirror. They're going to, 5150 me and put me in a straitjacket somewhere or put me in jail. So I had to dig this hole and bury this mirror. What a night that was, Gary. That was rough.
Wow. What happens when they work in the cemetery and somebody digs that mirror up? Now what's going to happen?
I know. That's right. You're absolutely right. I worry about that. I go back and check it from time to time. The thing is, where I buried it, they're not going to dig it up for graves or anything because it was in a part where they're not going to put any graves because it was near a tree toward the corner of the graveyard. So I kind of chose that purposely so they wouldn't do that. And after so often, it growed up so nicely you can't even tell nothing's there either. So that's good. And the weird part was when I went back to the house the next day, that wall where that mirror was, it looked like, for lack of a better term, blood pouring down the wall where that mirror was, which was, again, that was weird and bizarre too because it wasn't there when we took the mirror away. And why that appeared, I don't know.
Or could have anything evil transferred from that mirror into your house at that point?
Well, it wasn't my house, but it was the client's house. But
the client's house.
But what I did afterwards, I totally blessed and cleansed the house just in case and did what I had to do. And they didn't have any more problems since then. It's been going on 3 years.
Interesting. Now, what would happen if you would have broke the mirror up in a couple thousand pieces?
Oh, well, then you got a couple thousand problems. Of each one of them could probably be haunted. So, yeah, that's always a danger. That's one reason. That was another reason why I put a big black bag over in case it did break and keep it all together. But you don't want to put it in the garbage because, a lot of people, they'll see mirrors in the garbage. Oh, that mirror. Nothing wrong with that mirror. Let me take it home. And then they're bringing home. Lord knows what you're bringing home. Best advice I can give people out there: do not bring used mirrors to your house. Don't do it. If you're somewhere and you want to buy a used mirror, just kind of clear your mind and get a feel for it. If it doesn't feel right, leave it alone. It's worth a few extra dollars just to buy a brand new mirror. Really
interesting. I used to have a friend back in junior high school. Down in their deep basement of their house, they had a mirror and it was painted black.
Oh, that's somebody that probably would sound like they were doing some scrying, where you kind of look in the mirror and you can see and maybe talk to spirits. And I don't recommend that. I mean, unless you know what you're doing, I wouldn't try it.
No, but they painted the mirror black. The glass was painted black.
Okay. I wonder what the reason for that was. I guess it could be a number of reasons. Hard to tell.
Well, if you painted the mirror black, maybe then the evil can't, come through.
Well, I have heard that theory. I don't know if that works or not. I just go straight for what I know that works. But, I mean, I have heard people that did just that thing, what you just said. But I'll tell you, mirrors, I could write a whole book on mirrors. I mean, that was just one incident. Mirrors are just, they can cause so much problem. They allegedly can open portals. If you have them facing each other, you might not want to do that. Not saying it will do it, but it's kind of comparable to standing in the middle of a open field during a lightning storm. You might not get struck with lightning, but the odds go way up, so to speak. So, why do it? But mirrors, there's just a long history of things they can do because they see so much.
Yeah, but I mean, a mirror is nothing but glass that has a coating on it to reflect. So, I mean, how can it capture an evil spirits or evil in a piece of glass that has like a chrome base to it, a coating of chromium or something like that? I mean, can you explain that at all, or do you know?
Allegedly, mirrors can be portals. Giving you kind of example, if you put two mirrors facing each other and you look, they go for infinity, and in theory, that can, none of this can be proven, but in theory, that can open up a portal, and when that's done, anything can come through that portal. And then you have people that, say somebody owned a mirror, they owned it for 50 years, it was handed down in their family, they got real attached to it and they died, so spirits can attach to it. All kinds of things like these with mirrors. There's so many different things that happen with mirrors. It's just, in theory, again, nothing can be ever proven, but I know what I've seen and been through, and you can't, there's no other explanation, but when you get rid of the mirror, everything's better.
Well, how about somebody had a recliner or a rocking chair and had it for, like 30, 40 years and they pass on? Could the spirits be in that rocking chair?
Absolutely. That's the thing. It doesn't even have to be old. Any object can have a spirit attachment. It could be anything. If somebody in living really would love something that they owned, they could have bought it yesterday and died the next day, but if they really loved it, they could attach to it, and there could be a spirit attachment on it. And if you buy a yard sale or get handed down, you bring it in your house, you could bring that spirit in. That doesn't mean the spirit's bad. It just could mean you're bringing something with you into the house.
Yeah. Well, how about TVs then? I mean, how many people sit there their whole life and watch TV, and then as they pass on, could that TV then be possessed too, just like mirrors and everything else?
You know what? In theory, absolutely. Another thing with mirrors, when people would die, the old thing, people, especially in the olden days, they would cover all the mirrors in the house when somebody died, so the spirit, the soul, wouldn't get lost or locked into mirrors or trapped in them.
Yeah. In other words, if you're looking and you're shaving in an old mirror, using the old mirror, and you see this hag in that mirror, you better get rid of that mirror.
Well, I could tell you another thing. The Bel Air house here in Ohio is supposed to be one of the most haunted houses in the country, if not the world. I was there in May, and one person I was with, they was looking in the mirror to, checking their hair or whatever. Next thing you know, they seen a face in the mirror looking back at them, and I'm going to tell you something. They come up out of that bathroom real fast.
Well, I sure would. I'd tell you that. Hey, anyway, we're about ready to take a commercial break. I want everybody to go to the website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Take a look at it. While you're at it, if it's towards the end of the year, if you want to donate $1 or $2 to help pay for our bandwidth and keep all the prior shows for free. I mean, you don't have to join a club here. I was noticing this one lady talk show host. If you wanted to listen to any of her past shows, She charges you $5 a hit to listen to any of her previous shows. A lot of these will charge you $5 to $13 a month just to be able to listen to old